Hey guys, Isaac here. Today is DCI Flight Week and it is Isaac Thursday. So my shows are the Cadets 2000, Star of Indiana 93, Santa Clara 2018, and Blue Devils 2014. So let's start it off with my personal favorite, the Cadets 2000 Mirror the Future. This is one of the shows that I literally watched time after time after time and just kept watching it. It was one of my favorite shows ever. Who wants to start it off?
I'll go.
Yeah, you can go. Big Cadets fan.
I mean, it's part of the old Cadets line, so, it's going to be good. I can't really say much more than that. I personally haven't seen it in a hot second. It's been a while since I've watched 2000. But I really enjoy everything that any old Cadet show puts out on the field.
Old Cadets
Yes.
is something to just slap to. It's so like that. Anytime you hear an old Cadets show, it's probably one of the best Cadets shows in my opinion. Because I think we discussed this earlier on how like older Cadets is stronger and people like older Cadets more since some of their show themes now are like more different and not many people like change, but I like some of the newer shows. But I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything about Cadets 2000, but they can go on ahead.
So I don't have that much, but it's one of the coolest quad features ever.
Yes, sir.
That was if anything was a gateway to the Caddy's 2014 spinning quads, it was probably that. Wait, was it 2014? Probably. If anything was a gateway to that, it was probably Cadets 2000 because that introduced a whole different type of thing to quad features, and I really love that.
Oh yeah. So for me, what I love about the show is obviously, so they have all these amazing, like really cool, intricate parts. So the quad feature, for example, and then right after the percussion feature, they have trumpets all in three rows. And they're literally playing a 16th note pattern and switching their hands to the trumpet next to them. And then the other guy on the end is like waving their hands. So it's like, so the pattern is so it's like triplet 16s. And it is the coolest thing I've ever heard from a trumpet feature. Like, I mean, you can say Blue Devils, all their chords and all this stuff, but that was one of my favorite parts. And not only that, their like brass sound that year was incredible. And the composition and everything just worked so well together. All right, we want to move on to Star 93.
I mean, does Owen have any opinions on Cadets 2000?
Oh, yeah.
Or like Jaelyn?
No, I mean, not really. I was going to talk about how that trumpet feature was really cool, and I mean that's my favorite part of that show. I know I'm like a percussion guy, but I don't know. I mean, quad feature was cool, but I think the trumpet thing was cooler. Because that's just not really something you get to see that often, and they did it really, really well. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jaelyn.
Maybe it's just an older band type of thing, but they had these marching toms on the field, and I thought it was really cool, and added some different aspects to the battery.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, so Star 93, the music are Barber and Bartok. What are we thinking here? I know for me, it's the closer.
I agree. The closer's the best part of that show. I love that part of the show so much.
Oh yeah,
such a great sound and just a great way to end a show in general, just because of how powerful it is, and also just can Star of Indiana just still be alive? Like, let's just take a
wish.
Honestly,
can they not have folded?
That would be easier for me. That'd make my life a whole lot easier.
Oh, whatever.
Given the fact that Indiana gang got
When did they die?
You don't need to say die. It's folded.
I mean, was it 90?
We're not going to talk about it.
Was it 90?
Too sad.
It's a very sad subject.
What?
It's a very touchy subject.
I'll search it up right now.
What?
Star of Indiana.
Yeah, you search it up. All right, but yeah, I mean, it's just like the closer and the power that the whole ensemble has was literally insane. Like, and then of course you have Medea which the Medea hit is
Ooh, yeah, Medea.
incredible, beautiful high brass sound. Then the lows just really taken over, really nice stuff. Owen, you wanna go on Star Indiana?
I mean, I haven't seen the show. It wasn't one of the highlights I was able to get to. But I mean, I know that the old core was good. I know that they put out some really good stuff. And I mean, as I'm doing with all the other shows that I don't get to watch before this, I'm gonna go back and see what they have.
Yeah, definitely. I know for me, it's the thing about Star was always their drill. Like, that was the most insane thing you've ever seen. I mean, going from a cross on one side of the field and slowly maneuvering everybody, but doing all these insane drill moves, and then all of a sudden the cross reappears. Like, that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen them do. Like, their drill was just insane. Like, it's fast paced. Like, oh my gosh, it's really cool. And you don't really get to see that a lot anymore because, I mean, they're trying to be, DCIs are trying to be a little bit safer in this.
Yeah, so Star of Indiana was a Division I drum corps, founded in 1984, disbanded in 1993. So that was their last show.
Yeah, that was last year.
And then they wanted
There's somewhere around
Big rip in the chat for them.
Oh yes, Miles.
So I've only actually seen this show twice, but I remember it so vividly because one of them was the full run of the whole entire show, and then the other one was the percussion judge tape. And I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they got a near perfect percussion score because that's one of they didn't play the hardest music, but that was probably one of the cleanest DCI drum lines in history that I've ever heard. Their technique was very strange, but it worked beautifully, and it was just like stupid clean.
Yes.
And yeah, like you could eat off of the floor that they were playing on.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing about like Star of Indiana, Velvet Knights, and all these other older corps. Like they had something different and something special about each and every one of them.
Awesome.
I mean,
I feel like they set the show template for what DCI would be like 10 years later. I feel like they were very far ahead of the rest of the of the rest of the field. So
yeah, definitely, and of course Gavin's putting the Glassman in there. All right, so we want to move on. Actually, Jaelyn never got to talk yet.
Yeah, Jaelyn.
Oh, I was just sorry. I was gonna go off what you said about the drill. I was watching them. They do this like mountain formation, and I thought it was really cool and all the different things. I don't know what it's called, but I thought it was fun, and they integrated the color guard in it. It looked cool.
Oh yeah. All right, this is where it's gonna get interesting.
These last.
So this is probably my favorite show from the 2010s era. 2018 SCV Babel.
I'm so happy.
All right.
I'm so happy you didn't say the other show.
I'm gonna let all of you guys talk, and then I'll say my little. I don't know.
I call going first.
Let me speak.
No. I call going first, so we get the positivity out. We already judged
All right,
Babylon.
good.
We judged Babylon with the cadets, the Unity Project, and Santa Clara Vanguard 18. An amazing show. Yes, I personally don't think that they could have had a more explained theme, but their overall presentation of the show definitely deserved that title in 2018, just because of how great their brass line was, just how great the percussion section was. That show was amazing, and just the use of the props was a cool idea. Like you have 6 boxes, and they turn out to 40? There's so many of them.
That was insane.
But
4. It started off as 4, and then they expanded.
Like it was crazy to think that that's how many props came out of those, and then they set it up for those mellophones at the end to do the chords, drumline going crazy. Everything about this show was great in my opinion. My favorite SCV show. I feel that they could have done something more interesting in 2019 because I wasn't a big fan of 2019, but 2018, great show. But Mitchell here has an issue with Babylon, because he likes Dreams and Nighthawks. Like I said, the best part of that show was the ending of it when they released their final note. So,
all right. So, Miles, if you want to back me up here, so
I don't. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
My thoughts on Babylon. We're gonna disregard that. So, first off, Babylon. Okay, cool. Was there a theme? Question mark.
Babylon is the theme.
I didn't even know what. I didn't even know what it was until like 3 months after the fact.
I agree with that.
Like,
no.
Yes.
I'm not done yet. So, then music. Okay. All right. Fine. You have your horn snap. You have the ballad. Cool. Outside of that,
Ensemble.
okay. All right. Front ensemble. We'll
See,
go
we're
with
just
that,
disproving
too.
you.
Oh, and that killer snare feature after the.
No, stop my
Also,
time.
the snap. Yeah, I'm just.
So, after that, after the horn snap, wasn't really much for me there. Didn't really get impressed or awed by anything much, other than the ballad.
This is a 6v1.
Okay, all right, triple singing solos in the over. Cool.
6v1.
I just personally was more attracted to Blue Devils 2018, and I like the idea how Blue Devils kind of went out of their comfort zone and with a bunch of screamers. And okay, I know there's a trumpet screamer. Fine.
There's baritone screamers
the fact,
too.
and so that's my music.
A baritone?
There's baritone screamers.
I said the baritone solos in the ballad.
Screamers. Say
That's
screamers. Say screamers.
Okay, all right. Anywho,
Go
so
on.
music. Let's get that out of the way. Visual. So, back leg. Not my style.
Not mine either.
Looks muddy for me. As much as I love the Ohio State marching band, chair step is not superior to roll step, or bent leg is not superior to roll step. There's that. And again, general effect, not much there for me, other than the horn snap. No, I don't either cry at a show or I hate it.
Okay.
I didn't cry live, but I liked it.
Listen.
Okay. So
Hold on. Wait, but general effect, as I recently discovered, general effect isn't like the effect of the show. It's how the sections work together, right?
yes, that is what they
Exactly.
judge off of in VO.
Is that
So-
what they judge off of? Because that is skewed.
Well, that's not what we're going to talk about
We're
today.
going to be judging.
Yeah,
just
we'll have another
standards.
podcast for that.
This
just
is-
for you.
hold on.
Anyways, Blue Devils better than Vanguard 2018. Let's go.
No. Just listen to this. So I have done much research on this show, and it just made me appreciate it even more than I already did. Coming into watching that 2018 season, I was Blue Coats all the freaking way.
Yeah, Session
I was
44.
like, Blue Coats are gonna win. They got this in the bag. Session 44 is gonna kill it, right? Up until Atlanta Championships, when I sadly did not get to go there, but I watched it on Flow Marching with Gavin actually. SCV killed it that night, and I was like, man, this is a really cool show. So I did some research. Babylon is a name in the Bible that means wicked city. So that whole premise of that show is basically creating that city on the field. And if you look at the show visually and you listen to it, that's exactly what they're representing. So that whole, what you call, like, when you keep saying how they're just blasting, no. There's a thing called control blasting, and that's what we do in all of our part ones. And that's what our woodwinds do all the time.
Carolina Crown.
What you're
Well, I know there's controlled blasting. Trust me. I know there's controlled
right? Yeah. So that's what they're
yeah.
trying to recreate that as much as possible. So Babylon is wicked city, right? So you're supposed to have this kind of wicked or mysterious kind of demeanor, right? That's what it's based off of. And they had that idea throughout the whole show. If you watch it beginning to end and you try to enjoy it.
Right.
That's my point on that. Okay, Owen, you may go, because I know you have some thoughts on this too.
I mean, it wasn't the first show I saw, but it was one of the first, 20 shows or so. And I mean, I heard it and I was just like, oh my God. Because, I mean, it just hits you in such a phenomenal way. maybe it was because I didn't have like the most developed ear for drum corps or anything back then, but like, I don't know. I mean, just as a member of the audience, it was so fun to listen to. And then now I know, like, after I was just introduced to drum corps, it just has like, there's all the technique and the snare line and the pit that just is like, oh my God. And that's so cool. And I really like all of that. And I don't know, maybe it's not the most like conceptually accurate show, but if you're talking in display of musicianship and ability, I feel like that is where the show really speaks out.
So for me, I think it was that show was created for that ensemble specifically, and that's what it felt like to me because that ensemble executed that on a very high level. And Mitchell can talk about all this, super bent leg, whatever stuff, but that's a style of marching, and you may not agree with it.
I don't.
You may dislike it. Yeah, but here's the thing. Some people like it. Some people agree with it. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, they did it well. I'm not going to deny that. I just, personally,
All right, Miles.
So, the first time I saw Babylon, I was pretty sure DCI 2018 was heading in a pretty boring direction. The only show I had liked at the time was Session 44. I didn't even like Beast at that point. And so, yeah, so like I was watching a replay of the stream from the Rose Bowl, which was Vanguard's first performance. And most of the show was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But like people were talking it up a lot. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out why. And so then I got to the ballad and I was like, whoa, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Because still, I didn't know that much about DCI at the time. It's not my favorite ballad anymore. I will discuss what is later. But at the time, I was like, whoa, this is absolutely amazing. And so I just began to look into the show a lot more. And it turns out the opener is actually probably my favorite part of the show. Not the ballad, just because the percussion is so creative with it. Like Paul Rennick manages to write percussion music through literally anything. There's nothing that stops him from writing a percussion phrase into a pause, no matter what time signature, no matter what tempo, he can do it. And that's why he and his sister are so creative with it, because he and his sister both write the percussion music. So yes, I absolutely do love Babylon. I do agree that the way they played with the what was it, controlled blasting was a bit weird, but it worked because they won GE, and like that was planned from the beginning. And I also think it's iconic for them to break Crown's brass streak going all the way since 2014.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's literally just an iconic show. That, and not to mention, like there was a point where people were talking on Reddit and Twitter and stuff about is Babylon going to be the highest scoring DCI show of all time? Didn't really come that close.
No, it
you
didn't.
can see why it would be.
Oh yeah,
Mitchell doesn't see why it would be, but
Mitchell,
you can see why it would be.
But
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I know my favorite part is actually the closer. I think the closer is ingenious. Like, it's one of my favorite parts in that show. And obviously, we can talk about the horn snap, but one of my favorite ballad hits is Babylon. That's one of my favorite ballad hits. Personally.
Absolutely love the closer. Just like that mellow sustain the whole time.
Yes.
Absolutely just cutting through, piercing over all these moving lines. It's just so great to hear.
Oh my god.
And you just have all this power, and it's just phenomenal.
So good.
I love it.
Yes,
all right,
mellow.
Jaelyn?
I thought their front ensemble was amazing. It like focused in, so I got to see them play and like some other recordings, and I was just mesmerized. I couldn't even believe that like I play the same instrument as them, because they're such another level. It was so cool.
Oh yeah, that's such a good show. All right, and then my last show, 2014 Blue Devils.
I'll say my case later on.
So, Fellini-esque. Gavin, would you like to say how you pronounce that show?
Fellinius, that's how I do it.
Fellini-esque.
Nah, I do Fellinius.
Fellini-esque.
You know why I do Fellinius? Because I don't respect that show. I don't like.
Okay, well, you can
Fine.
So,
No. If you want me to, I'll say my case now. Then I'll say my case now.
oh, you want to say it now?
I'll say my
okay,
case
I'm ready.
now.
Let's go.
Get that crap out of the way.
You can
Yeah,
try.
we gotta-
You can try to change my
Yeah.
mind on it, but I promise you, it's not going to happen. So yes,
Go ahead. Just
Blue
go.
Devils with the highest score in DCI history. Yeah, great job. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it. They deserved to win the show, but I think Tilt should have won personally. But that's not why I don't like it. The reason I don't like it is because I didn't like the general theme. I didn't like the musical selections, and I care about the shows. The shows I like usually make me feel some sort of way, and I feel connected to that show. That show did not make me feel connected whatsoever, so I'm just not a big fan of it. And then this is another thing that I just hate. It's not on Blue Devils. It's about the people, like the DCI fan community. As soon as everyone was like Blue Coats all the way, and they were like mad that like Blue Coats didn't win, but then all of a sudden, tons of people just bandwagoned and jumped on Blue Devils, which I think was completely incorrect. Like, if you have a core and you don't have a justifiable reason to switch besides they won, then I don't understand why you switched, because that's not a justifiable. Oh yeah, they won. Yeah, I'm not their fan. Can you give me a justifiable reason why you switched over? Because that's like in football, like people when the Patriots win, they always go bandwagon to the Patriots.
Fans.
Like
Patriots fans.
that's exactly
Patriots
what this
fans.
is like, and that's what tons of people do in
I'm raising
football.
cheater. Wait,
And
excuse me. Sorry.
And I hate the fact that they do that in DCI, because that's just aggravating. And another thing that, like, the thing I did like about that show was the fact that they performed it at a high level and they did an amazing job with it, but it's just not my favorite show and I don't like it. Just like Ink. I think Ink's overrated. I don't like Ink. Like, we can get into that tomorrow, but that's just my opinion on that.
I have another gripe about the show as well.
All right, I want to hear it.
So before, this is gonna sound really like elementary, but before I was like, I looked into the show, I was like, oh, that sounds like it's about cats, and I wasn't too down for a show about cats. But then I was talking to a group of DCI friends, just like casually, and I was like, yeah, like what? Why is there a show about cats? And they're like, it's literally not. And I was like, oh, word. And then so I watched, and I was like, yeah, I mean that was cool, I guess, but like, I don't know, it didn't hit me in the same way that Tilt did. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel more connected to Tilt. Like, we talked about Tilt on my day. Like, Tilt had a feeling. Yes, it had a general theme, and I feel they executed it well. They just lived to the theme. Maybe sometimes a little over the top, but they performed it well, and I personally think Tilt should have won that year. But you guys can take it apart and try to tear it apart, but my mind's not changing.
Right. So, obviously, Tilt, great show. That's my favorite Blue Coat show. But, so the word means fantastic and surreal. And I think as soon as they play that first trumpet solo, all of a sudden it's a whole new setting. Like, they changed the feel and the demeanor in that stadium right away. And I mean, the samples with the electronics in the background and with all the with the chorus starting to play, it's just mixing together and it creates this really beautiful ensemble sound. For me, at first I didn't like all the music selections, but then I really kind of listened to it more and more, and I started to like the show way more because, one, they were very controlled in how they played, and they had great musicality all the way through. Two, yes, some of the music selections didn't seem like it fit, but then you kind of listen to it more and more, and you realize it's very smooth transitions all the way through. And then, I mean, not to mention, you have, even from the opener to the closer, it's just such, like, you're just drowned in that surreal and that fantastic that, you know, they're really trying to portray all the way through. For me personally, I think it's an incredible show. I think it's fantastic. I think they're very precise. I think visually they looked incredible. The guard that year was really, really great as well. Like, it just fit very well for what they were trying to portray. That's just for me, I guess. But,
I think that's my same opinion with Blue Devils 2018 Dreams of the Nighthawks.
Oh my gosh, we're not talking about that shit.
I was disagreeing.
Garbage.
Okay, all right.
So, I think for this, I'm only going to talk about the closer because that originally when the first time I listened to that show, the last minute and 30 seconds of Fellini-esque is what completely sold me on that show.
Yes.
And it is because it's just about literally everything I've ever wanted in a closer. It is it is my favorite closer of all time. It might not be the best, but it is my favorite. And I would literally give not anything, but most things to just fly in my room. Most things to have been there live because it is literally beautiful. You've got just spot on percussion, and it was Brandon Orlando's first year, so that's how you knew they were doing really well. You got spot on percussion. You got the pit just with pit runs flying everywhere, just mallet runs throughout the entire closer, just clean, stupid clean. Like percussion, like it wasn't the cleanest throughout the whole entire show. They did have some tempo tears, and I feel like that's the reason that held them back from getting like maybe even nearly a perfect score. But either way, the closer is just like done to in my mind perfection. It's just that good. And if you've never listened to the closer of Fellini-esque, I suggest you go like a minute back and just sit and listen. Don't watch. Just literally listen to how good it is. Like, feel everything in your ears. It's beautiful. I can't put it into enough words how good the closer is. Yeah. And going even before that, the drum breaks were pretty dope. I think that was Scott Johnson writing that year. I don't know if he writes anymore or not. I could be donkey brain, but that writing is tasty as hell. It's wonderful. Yeah.
It was so.
It's a surreal show. It's really hard to explain it in words. You just really have to watch it.
No, I agree. I mean, going off what you're talking about, the closer is they have mellow rips, they have amazing sustains, like everything that we usually talk about, like, oh, I really want that, I wish they had that. Like, they have it, and it's so good. It's not my favorite closer, but it is one of my favorites, and it is insanely good. Jaelyn, would you like to say your piece?
Well, I can't really top that, but there is a percussion break that I absolutely loved with the front ensemble and Battery just going ham in the front, just fitting in with these crazy runs. And, I mean, they're amazing, especially this show.
All right, yeah, so that was, anybody have any last minute words? Are we good? All right.
Not really. I think
Fellini-esque disappeared.
Fellini-esque.
Whatever, you guys.
Right.
We'll decide that later on. Maybe I'll change some stuff on this fight schedule for Fellini-esque and Tim. But so.
Oh no!
These are I hit randomize while these guys are talking, and these are the things we're gonna be doing on Saturday to help us rank these top 28 cores we have. So for round 1, it's the Cavaliers 2019 and Carolina Crown 2019. Then round 2, we have Carolina Crown 2008, Boston Crusaders 2018. Round 3, Bluecoats 2019 versus the Madison Scouts 1995. And this is like the first category, but round 1, if it's the Cavies or Crown, they have to go up against Carolina Crown 2015 in round 2. So number 4 is Bluecoats 2015 and Mandarins 2018. Whoever wins that goes up against Cadets 2000. The 5th round is Bluecoats 2016 and Crossman 2019. The 6th round is Blue Devils 2011 and the Boston Crusaders 2019. That's the second little bracket. Then 7, Blue Devils 2017 and Blue Devils 2018. I think we all know who's going to win there. Then that goes over to whoever wins that goes against Star of Indiana 1993. Then the 8th battle is Blue Knights 2015 and Blue Coats 2014. Then 9 is Bluecoats 2015 and Carolina Crown 2016, and that's the 3rd bracket. And now the final bracket, Santa Clara Vanguard 2018 against the Cadets 2011. Whoever wins that goes up against Santa Clara.
2011 Cadets.
Shush, Mitchell, please. Whoever wins that goes to Santa Clara Vanguard 2017. The 11th caption, Blue Devils 2014 and Carolina Crown 2014. Now, the last one, before we go to round 2 officially, is Carolina Crown 2018 and the Cadets 2012. Mitchell, do not say a word. So, that is our lineup, and then it's on Saturday we're going to go from round 2 to round 3, then the semifinals, then we have finals, and then we'll have a bronze match with the loser of 25 and the loser of the 26 bracket. So we'll sort of identify that on Saturday. So tomorrow is Allie and Miles Friday, so we're going to be doing 8 shows, and join us tomorrow, and then join us on Saturday for the final battles of DCI Fight Week, where Mitchell's shows, I don't think a single one will make it in the top 12. So...
Hey, hush. Miles, we're ready to fight, aren't we?
I think all of us are ready to
You
fight.
lost me when you dissed Babylon. So.
Oh, dang. Okay, I think we...
You are kidding me, sir. Sir, this means war. This... I'm hurt.
Okay, well, we'll leave that to Saturday. Thank you guys for joining in, and join us tomorrow for Allie and Miles shows.